I've been watching Bbai get absolutely hammered for months. And I'm not going to lie to you, there were plenty of investors who started questioning everything in regards to Bbai. The stock pulling back with momentum disappearing and the excitement starting to fade. Just, I won't say, like, I wouldn't say that the excitement has completely faded or it's been a substantial amount that it has faded, but just you can see that there's a little bit less excitement when it comes to the sentiment for Bbai. But what you may have noticed is the fact that the market does its best job of discouraging people right before a major move. Because how many times have you been in a position where you were long on a stock and you get shaken out just because you see price action drop, and then it starts to go in your direction, in your favor, and then you want to get back in, and sometimes you do get back in and you get wrecked again. We've all been there, and that's happened to every single one of us. Because now, after 3 months of price action when it comes to Bbai, and shout out to Prophecy AI, the Claw's got bullish projections, 1 year price target of $5.72. But this month, or these past 3 months, Bbai, it has been down a decent amount, and it's gone as low as almost below $3. The lowest has been as $3.01. But finally, after 3 months of price action, we have reclaimed above $5 with a very bullish day that we had yesterday. And even though that we are closing the day red, or we didn't close the day red, we closed it on a 2% gain. But it does showing that there was a little bit of sell-off, and the momentum has slowed down a little bit. Nevertheless, we still did close above the upper thirds of the previous trading day, even after a decent amount of sell-off all the way at $4.71. So the purpose of this video isn't to tell you that Bbai is going to be going to $20 tomorrow. That would be me BSing you. I'm not trying to do that here on this channel. The purpose is to show you why I think the market may be missing out on what Bbai is quietly building. Because Bbai, it continues landing real-world AI deployments. Because on May 20th, we did have a recent development, and a lot of people are already familiar with what happened with Bbai. But just to break down the announcement, AI news. So yeah. Oh. Yeah, here we go. So Bbai, as it stated, announced first deployment of its AI-powered supply chain security platform in Panama's Dry Canal. And at first glance, what you may be thinking is some investors, they might look at this, and the first thing that they think is, David, that's old news, which it's really not old news. Again, it was only 9 days ago. But the question is, first off, I want you to know that even though it hasn't been news stacked and stacked and stacked on top of each other the same way we've been seeing with SEALSQ, for example, lately, nevertheless, it still is recent, and they still are doing things and showing that they're positioning themselves in a way to become a winner in the defense system. And the question is, if it's old news though, why is the stock suddenly finding strength now? Because sometimes the market doesn't react to news immediately. Like, for example, when you see something like an NVIDIA quarterly, you do see that very, very short-term spike, whether if it's to the upside or the downside, and then you start to see the dust fade, the dust settle, and you'll see some very volatile price action, and then things start to cool off. Sometimes it's not that way. It could be a good press release, a good article that comes out, and nothing happens relatively when it comes to the price action. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, there wasn't really anything that happened. Yeah, see, so it was a bullish day on the day, but it was nothing compared to what happened on today's volatility or yesterday's volatility all the way to the upside. If you enjoy my content, please hit the like and subscribe button. And if you ever need help making better decisions with investing, simply take a look at the first link below to get access to my community and support yourself with like-minded investors and get access to the world's leading AI models, Claude, Gemini, OpenAI, and Grok. Get all of this software for $7 in my community, and my community is free. So again, not everything is set in stone and not everything happens the same when it comes to the stock market. And the Panama Canal isn't some random location, as both me and you know, or at least I do assume that both me and you know, because this is one of the most important trade routes on the planet. And roughly 5 to 6% of global maritime trade flows through this region. Millions of containers move through it every year, and according to the release, over 120 metric tons of cocaine tied to cargo activity were seized in Panama during 2023. The reason I stuttered was just to make sure. Again, I'm just going over with all the information I've gone through, but I'm not sure if that's okay. I'm assuming it's okay to say that on a video with Big Bear. I know I'm not, somebody breaking down, federal news, federal cases or anything like that, but still, just, first time I've ever said cocaine on a video. But this isn't AI looking for funny pictures on the internet. This is AI helping solve real world security and logistic problems. Now, meanwhile, when it comes to Big Bear AI, they are still treating Big Bear. They're still treating Big Bear like it's just another hype stock. They still think AI begins and ends with chatbots, and they focus only on today's stock price, and they focus on the next earnings report. They only focus on those short-term time frames, and they only focus on those singular events. They ignore where the technology is actually being deployed, and that's where I think investors can get themselves into trouble. And when I say the word they, I'm talking about things like mainstream media for the most part. And just so you know, Warren Buffett has famously said that the stock market is a device for transferring money from the patient, or from the impatient to the patient. And Peter Lynch has famously said as well that the real key to making money in stocks is to not get scared out of them. So for those of you, if you're like me, throughout all of this price action, I've been riding all of this all the way up, not to when it was at $10 a share, but I've been here ever since last year. I was actually here for this. I was talking about I was not a part of that. I was not a part of this. I've been here ever since roughly in the March to April time frame of last year. And I've been writing all of this price action to those $2 a share. And we did ride all the way up to $8.72. And then we crashed down. Well, we didn't crash down yet. Well, we did crash down. And then we had another look above attempt all the way up to $9.39. And then we crashed all the way back down to as low as $2. So, again, don't get scared out due to volatility. And don't get involved with volatile stocks like Big Bear if you can't stomach a roller coaster type of price action like that. And what I've learned over the years is the market, it rewards conviction long before it rewards comfort. And by the time the story starts to feel obvious, the easy money is already usually gone, because most investors want certainty before they buy. But stocks usually don't work like that. As me and you both know, there's no such thing as certainty, and there's always going to be risk on the table. And by the time you feel certainty, that certainty just usually means it's bullish momentum to the upside. There's lots of buying activity going on. You start to feel FOMO. You hear people on mainstream media saying that it's a good stock, and then you think it's okay to buy one. That's not the way to go about it. You got to be okay with dealing with some level of uncertainty if you're going to be a long-term investor, especially in stocks like Big Bear AI. And the price action does get attention, but the deployment is what creates value. So news articles like this, even though that people just like to see the green big naked candlestick charts, again, the deployments and the news articles and the bullish data points for Big Bear is what helps move the stock in the upward direction. And another thing is that the crowd, in my opinion, most retail investors, they just look at the candlestick patterns, but investors are watching contracts. And on this channel, what I do my best to do is not get too overburdened over short-term price action, but instead, I like seeing good price action. And I like seeing my stocks go in the upward direction and have some nice gains, whether short-term or long-term. But what I like to pay attention to more is the fundamentals, real world market usage, and all other fundamental and financial analysis, looking at the financials and just doing a fundamental deep dive analysis on stocks, doing research on the contracts they get, the position they're in, the market, their positioning and the market that they're in, and a bunch of other things that I like to look at that help me decide whether I'm going to be putting my hard-earned capital. And I hope you gain some value from the videos that I make for you, and you kind of not simulate, but I would say kind of take certain points or take certain key points and kind of understand for yourself that you need to do your own deep dive analysis, and you can't be focused too much on what these candlesticks do. You got to look at the fundamentals if you are a long-term investor. And what I'm trying to get at here, and all I am saying is the Panama deployment guarantees Big Bear AI is going to become a huge it's not going to be guaranteed. It's not guaranteeing that Big Bear AI is going to be a huge winner. There's never guarantees in the market. So scratch what I just said. There's no guarantees that anybody's a long-term winner in the stock market. But what I am trying to say, though, is after more than 3 months of downward pressure, the stock is up above $5, and we are holding strong up above it. And the company, it continues pushing deeper into defense, homeland security, logistics, and critical infrastructure. And that's why I'm paying attention to the stock. But what do you guys think? Is Big Bear AI finally beginning its next move to the upside? Or is this just another temporary rally? Let me know what you guys think below. And if you enjoy these deep dives into AI, or artificial intelligence, defense stocks, cybersecurity stocks, quantum stocks, you name it, I'll cover it. Let me know in the comment section below. And please, if you did enjoy the content, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button, as I do appreciate all the support from you guys. But with that being said, guys, David with InvestQ out. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video. I can't snap that well.